Final night of the regular season, we bring you Rutgers and Wisconsin on this Wednesday evening. All 14 Big Ten teams in action here tonight, and a lot up for grabs. You're up to the minute Big Ten standings. Important for this match, Michigan just locked up the 4 seed in beating Indiana. So Rutgers and Wisconsin now kind of duking it out here tonight for a position for seeding and just to make the Big Ten tournament.
They do. They both have to find a win tonight just to solidify that spot. That's how close the standings are right now going into this Big Ten tournament this year. It's crazy.
As we turn the page from October to November, both of these programs can be pretty proud about what they were able to do in the month of October. Our State Farm State of Success, both of these teams unbeaten in October. Rutgers a 2-0-4 record, Wisconsin a 3-0-3 record. Those ties, though, as you saw the standings, a major factor in the storyline for both of the seasons for both of these teams, because they both left a lot of points there on the field, so to speak, that really could have made a difference in terms of seeding and where they fit in the standings this year.
Did both these teams just being so tight in this conference seeding situation right now. Like you said, they both left so many points on the line, and when we talk to coaches, just in terms of the level of fatigue that ties and overtimes bring as well, kind of hinders you as you're going through a Big Ten season, which is already grueling enough.
Well, the weather, as you can see, is not necessarily ideal. Lightning in the area, which is the good sign. So we're dealing with rain and showers. It has been that way for most of the day in Madison, Wisconsin. In fact, it's been that way across the Midwest, you could say. So they are dealing with that. You've got a grass field that all these players are going to have to deal with. So some nasty conditions here to start this one. They were hoping that the rain would kind of exit the area by the time this one started. But a definite miss still taking place in Madison. We'll play it back to the Rutgers goalkeeper, Alana Jimenez. As we have told you all season long, she is filling the shoes of Casey Murphy, who made the U.S. 20 national team. Jimenez with 8 shutouts this year. That was coming off a season of last year. Of course, when Rutgers made it to the College Cup, they had 19 shutouts last season. That was a program record. All year long, she's had big shoes to fill.
She has, but I've really liked their approach to her filling in those big shoes. They wanted her to be her own keeper, be her own style, play her own way, and I think it's allowed her to kind of grow, have confidence stepping into a hard situation.
Both of these teams have different styles, and of course they start out with a different formation. Rutgers with a 4-3-3 and Wisconsin with a 4-4-2. So what is the clash in styles you expect to see here tonight?
You know, like you said, 4-3-3 against a 4-4-2. So it sounds like Wisconsin will be outnumbering Rutgers in the middle, but actually in that center of the park, right down the middle of the park, Rutgers has the advantage numerically. And then you'll see Wisconsin, they'll try to keep it a little bit wider with their players in the wing spots. They'll have more space on the ball. Rutgers will try and plug up that middle and really just play defensively. Also just to watch Rose Lavelle and make sure they know exactly where she is at all times and shut her down offensively.
See Rose Lavelle, number 3, she got a touch on this possession. She is playing in the defensive midfield position. She's been at that spot all season long. It's really been something that has been a selfless act. She hasn't had the stats this year that you're used to seeing. Just 3 goals, 3 assists, 9 total points on this season, but she's certainly one of the best players in the country.
She is, and that's hard as somebody who is used to scoring a lot of goals and contributing to her team's success through that. And like you said, it speaks volumes to what's important to her. She's very keyed into her team's success and her kind of holding in that withdrawn spot. She might not get all the goals, but she covers a ton of ground. Sydney
McGinnis caught offside off of the first set piece for Wisconsin. You'll see Kayla Powers, number 12, take all the set pieces for the Badgers. We showed you both of these teams unbeaten in the month of October and how important ties have played a factor to their seasons. 6 ties overall for Rutgers, 7 overall for Wisconsin. Mike O'Neill, in his 3rd season for Rutgers, the first coach in program history to get Rutgers really to back-to-back NCAA appearances in his first 2 years as a head coach.
And the future is bright for him. He's so plugged into the club world down on the East Coast. He knows those players very well. So I think he'll just grow this team so well, and they'll be an impressive program down the stretch and consistent as well.
Since we're on the talk of the month of October, I mean, Rutgers just had 2 home games in the month of October. And Mike O'Neill, in talking to us, said, you know, not only do we have to play in a lot of overtime games, but our legs played extra minutes, but our legs had to get used to travel as well.
They've had a long October, and for them to be able to say that they were unbeaten in that month is huge. He's really happy where his team is at. He said he has a really good line of communication between him and the players and what they need recovery-wise. So he feels good mentally and physically where his team currently is going into this last game of conference season.
Controlled in the midfield, Jennifer Andreessen. It'll be Whitley in the attacking mid spot, and they play it out to Tiernan. Tiernan cutting it back. She's got a lefty strike and a chance hit the goalpost. As we said at the top, Wisconsin has to be very aware of where 73 is.
She's so dangerous on the ball. She has a quick release in her shot. Here you see her just tap it behind, little touch to her left, and then she fires it at the near post. She's so good around the goal with her shooting range and shooting ability.
8 goals, 5 assists. She is tied for 8th all time on the Rutgers scoring points list, 59 for her career, with a total of over 20 goals scored and 15 assists. Her time in Piscataway. She's actually not left-footed, but she takes a lot of lefty chances.
She has a very impressive left-footed shot for a righty.
Let's go, White!
Physical play, and Kenny Wright tangling up with Sydney McGinnis. And the foul called on McGinnis. Kenny Wright has done a nice job in the left outside back position for Rutgers, but really the story of their back line are their 2 freshman center backs, Chantel Swaby and Amanda Visco. Had to replace 2 senior All-Americans at that position from last year.
And Coach O'Neill just can't say enough about how pleased he's been with those 2, how their relationship has grown, how they've grown defensively, how they're keeping the ball, communicating. He just had so many positive things to say about those 2. He's very excited about the future of his back line.
Borgman trying to settle. They might have called a handball on Emily Borgman. Sophomore up top. It'll be Borgman and McGinnis playing up top for Wisconsin. Here is Amanda Visco, one of the 2 freshman center backs. Settled again by Borgman. Trying to float it up top to McGinnis, who's charging on, and a hard tackle from Visco. First corner coming up for Wisconsin.
Here you see Sydney McGinnis, a great diagonal run by her, a great driven ball into space, but great defending by Rutgers.
Sydney McGinnis, a junior. Borgman is a sophomore. They have been the consistent starters up top for Wisconsin. Here again is Kayla Powers. A high floater. And it was Lavelle who got a piece of it.
good lofted ball deep into the box, and so impressive by Rose Lavelle. Gets up and over, it goes just wide left of the goal.
She covers so much ground, Paula Wilkins says. She almost covers two people sometimes, she feels like, in the midfield.
She's got a very good ability to double down on players. Coach Wilkins talked about she just covers ground all over the field, doubles down, wins balls, and then is able to dribble into that deep lying spot and beat teams off the dribble this year, which is different than last year.
She's only 5'4", but as you can tell, she's good in the air and can be a target on some of those set pieces. Alexis Ty, number 16 for Wisconsin. She's in the attacking center mid position with Lavelle in the holding mid spot. I'd like to see Ty get her first goal of the year. And how about Caitlin Clem coming all the way out?
It's one of the things Coach Wilkins talked about when we spoke with her, is just how much more aggressive her defense has been in these last 6 games, and it's part of why they've been successful. Her back line is stepping harder, which allows Caitlin Clem to be a little bit higher off of her line, and it's resulted in more opportunities offensively.
If your last name is Clem, you are destined to be a goalkeeper in the Big Ten. Her cousin, Lauren, at Northwestern. Her sister, Courtney, was at Michigan State. Here's Lavelle. And that was where she is so good on the ball and just kind of maneuvering through traffic. Lays it off nicely to the flank, and another corner for Wisconsin.
She's just so deceptive and calm with her movement. She makes everything that she does look so easy on the field. When getting in and out of pressure like that, weaving through a couple different players, is so hard to do. And she maintains possession after it as well.
She was ranked as the #1 player in the country by some media outlets here to start this year. Here's Powers, another high floater, again to Lavelle. Clearly, that is what Wisconsin's going for on these corner chances.
And you'll see her start in the middle of the PK box, right in the middle of that 6-yard box. So you'll see her here, then she backpedals out. Players just kind of forget about her. Nobody's really touched tight until they go up for this ball right here. But that's a dangerous little spot for her to be free in off those corner kicks.
And did you notice the 3 black jerseys around her?
Exactly. Once that ball's in the air, they all went to the ball. But anywhere in the box, you need to be touch tight, especially on somebody like Rose Lavelle.
So 3 corners for the Badgers now in the last couple of minutes of play. Lavelle this time lining herself up in the far post, and now working her way back out to the 6. Trying to create some space. Rutgers read it all the way. One more corner kick, why not? We go back the other way. Kayla Powers is getting her sprints in, or her jogs in, from corner to corner.
And Rutgers is in more of a zone right now, so you'll see those 2 in the middle just kind of have a free-for-all right in the middle of that 6 to be able to have carte blanche on any ball that gets floated in.
And you see Madison Tiernan with the clear. One of the strongest players on this Rutgers roster. She was shadowing Rose Lavelle in the last few corners.
She was. They definitely have an eye on her, but their zone system in the box proved well in those last 4 corners.
Madison Tiernan, they rely on her for scoring and for her points, but a huge defensive presence in the corner defense there for the Scarlet Knights, so they come away and shutting out Wisconsin, who got several corner opportunities. The play back to Andreessen. Here's Kenny Wright. She has the capability to push up. Kenny Wright is sophomore, good 1v1 defender. And that ability to attack out of the back. No points, though, for 2016. She's a threat if Rutgers chooses to use her. So they have a sophomore, 2 freshmen, and the senior, Aaron Smith, starting on the right side. That's the back line for Rutgers. The pass out to Aaron Smith. As Mike O'Neill says, he believes Aaron Smith and Madison Tiernan are the 2 shoe-in pros that he has starting in the field this year for the Scarlet Knights.
Aaron Smith, she's just kind of that anchor of the defense. We talk a lot about the center backs being so impressive in their development, but Aaron Smith has that experience. She's very smart defensively, and she has such a great ability to attack out of that outside back spot.
Played in the U23s this year. Certainly one of the players that the NWSL teams will be taking a look at when the college draft time comes in a few months. Wisconsin not applying a lot of pressure, and Paula Wilkins has said sometimes it's not about our forwards applying pressure, but sometimes it's about blocking passing lanes.
And staying compact. That's one thing that she stresses a ton of, is staying compact from front to back. So they move in shifts, almost like they're attached from forwards to defense on a string. They kind of stay together in that 40-yard type distance and try to make everything in the middle very hard to play through.
Allie Winterfield, a freshman for Wisconsin. She lays it off onto the right flank. Cameron Bigalski pushing up. Number 30, Cameron Bigalski is the only freshman getting the start on the back line for Wisconsin. It's a back line. It's had to do a little bit of juggling because of injury. Jamie Donahue was out. She got injured a few weeks ago. And that forced Morgan Taylor to go from the outside back position to the center back position, which is where Donahue was playing at. Here's Powers with the throw-in. Trying to play it up top to McGinnis. Jimenez was there.
What a great early ball in by Kylie Schwartz. It's a quick transition ball. She flights one up and over the top, trying to find Sydney McGinnis. Almost got her left foot on it. But good job by Alana Jimenez to get off of her line and keep it out of the goal.
And grateful that the ball didn't really take a crazy bounce, and when she turned around, there it was.
It did. It got up and over her somehow.
Well, all the action really has been on Jimenez and Rutgers' side. Again, here is McGinnis trying to play it in. Another corner. It'll be the 4th for Wisconsin in this half. Wisconsin leads the Big Ten in quarter chances this year. 4th in total shots attempted. They are certainly getting their chances in the first half. Powers again. Again, the direct angle right towards Rose Lavelle's way.
Another great clear by Madison Tiernan.
McGinnis was there, and Powers will get an open look. The deflection off of Jimenez. It's still alive for Wisconsin. Here's Bigalski. And a Badger throw-in.
Flick in the box, missed clear by Rutgers, and a great strike by Kayla Powers. Good defending by Aaron Smith to drop on that end line and be able to clear that ball that was hit.
Back out to Powers, almost like a corner kick chance. Found the head of McGinnis. Couldn't find the frame.
Here's another look at that strike by Kayla Powers. Zips it off of her right foot. And then Aaron Smith, what a great job by her to drop back behind Alana Jimenez to keep that ball out of the goal. Rutgers is a team that really likes to possess the ball in their midfield, and because Wisconsin is so disciplined right now at staying compact, that's why we're seeing the ball a ton in their backs, just because Wisconsin's dropping so far back and keeping those spaces so tight. Rutgers can't really find any rhythm to play through.
Nicely ball played to McGinnis, trying to find the angle. And a good job by the Rutgers defense to shut the door on that one.
See this ball by Cam Bogolski, just kind of slots it right through the middle, and then they find McGinnis on that slanted run into the box. Great job by Swaby to keep that ball out. Doesn't even let it go out for a corner kick. Great defending.
Rose Lavelle settling. Out to Bogolski. And a throw in here for Rutgers.
The better attacks that we saw out of Rutgers. But because Aaron Smith got forward, it allows for this quick transition for Wisconsin.
Powers wanted to take a distance chance, just couldn't get the right footing on that shot. Powers leads her team with 13 points, tied for the team lead with 4 goals, tied with Emily Borgman. Four total fouls now between these two teams, 2 for Rutgers, 2 for Wisconsin. We have not yet seen Rutgers really possess in their attacking third.
We haven't. I think we need to see them be a little bit more direct right now. Their defenders have been defending almost this whole half, it feels like. So I think if we can see some longer balls out of the back just to relieve some of that pressure from Wisconsin, we'll see a little bit more of a rhythm offensively from Rutgers.
We'll see some different numbers and some different names on the Rutgers side. They like to play about 17 to 18 players. Mike O'Neill is not shy about going to his bench and trying to keep his players fresh. He has to. They've played a lot of soccer this year. We mentioned the record, the program record, 9 overtimes. It's an extra 142 minutes of soccer throughout the year.
And the Big Ten season is so compact already. You play so many minutes within that Big Ten season in a short amount of time. To add on that many minutes, it takes a toll on your legs physically.
Here's Kenny Wright. And Tiernan pressuring a little bit. without Rutgers possessing in its attacking half, or really its attacking third, that has kept Madison Tiernan from really danger territory here tonight.
And you can tell she just wants that ball at her feet. She's come a little bit deeper to try and find the ball a few different times. She's just anxious to get on the ball. She has that incredible drive and will to win, so you'll see her float anywhere that she can find the ball at her feet.
Taylor Elmer's now in for Rutgers, and she is a player who Mike O'Neill has been really impressed with. Elmer is one, Jenna Seddon is another. Elmer just a freshman, Seddon is a senior. Seddon got the start here tonight. Those are a couple of players where he's given a little bit more playing time in the last few weeks. Elmer had a big goal against Penn State. The turn from Colby Shiraka. Shiraka staying with it. Here is Tiernan. All she needs is a little bit of daylight. And Wisconsin closing in on her. We have a stoppage in time for Wisconsin. Player, it looks like maybe Alexis Ty.
Alexis Ty is a very physical, kind of hammer-like player in that midfield. And that's what she brings to Wisconsin's midfield.
See Ty battling with Shiraka.
I don't think she got stepped on. I don't know if she overreached and maybe just pulled something along the back of her leg.
Just about 20 minutes to play until halftime. It's a big night of women's soccer across the league. We already have some finals with a couple of the early games. Penn State knocking off Ohio State. We mentioned at the top, Michigan beating Indiana. So the Wolverines locking up the 4 seed and a hosting opportunity for the Big Ten quarterfinals.
I really can't remember a year where it was so close in the standings and really down to the wire, down to this last game of conference play. Everything is still up in the air going into it.
Penn State coming into tonight, a chance to win a championship with Minnesota and Northwestern, also with an opportunity. Minnesota match taking place at Minnesota, taking on Maryland, and Northwestern taking on Illinois. That match starting about a half hour after this one. Rutgers gets one good look at it, and that's about it so far.
This is the farthest or the longest we've seen them have the ball and maintain possession this half. They still haven't played their signature style of play really at all this half. They like to get their outside backs forward. They like to kind of overload a side that they're on. And they haven't been able to generate anything like that this half just because they haven't kept the ball long enough yet.
Tiernan coming all the way back to control. With Wisconsin with the goal to be compact, Mike O'Neill knew that the ability to maneuver in tight spaces, like this example with a combination look, was going to be key for tonight. Trying to play a ball up and over, a weird bounce. Now that's an example of maybe the slippery surface that we see, but Clem was able to handle it.
Sure reacted well to that, but like you said, he was aware that they needed to be good in tight spaces, and he talked about them being confident as well. He said he gets stuck sometimes just with them making decisions and then questioning them, when as long as they make a decision quickly and they make it with confidence, he's okay with that.
So Clem and Jimenez both with a save each here so far tonight. Wisconsin with a 5-1 shot advantage and a 5-0 advantage in the corner category. Everything up for grabs. Championships and seedings on this final night of the regular season. You see Penn State with the win over Ohio State now sits at a 7-1-3 record. We'll have to wait to see what Northwestern and Minnesota does. Rutgers and Wisconsin now battling for seeding. A chance to make the Big Ten tournament, with Michigan locking up that 4 seed with a win against Indiana earlier tonight. Kayla Powers busy with all kinds of set pieces this evening for Wisconsin. Here's Rose Lavelle dancing on the ball like Rose Lavelle does. Can break all kinds of pressure with the dribble. She has a greater opportunity, I guess, to do that in the holding mid spot than she would in the attacking mid spot.
She does. In that attacking mid-spot, sometimes you find yourself back to goal so often, and that's easy for defenders to come and put pressure on you, double down on you. It just is hard to find the ball in that space. In that holding mid-spot, she's able to get the ball faced up already, and then she can just attack off the dribble, and she's so confident and calm with the ball at her feet that it really just causes problems for people's defense, just because she shifts their defense so much. You think you have her 1 second, and the next she's past you, breaking through the next line.
Powers again with the throw-in. And it got away from Danny Rhodes. Danny Rhodes has a nice year. She's a freshman coming off the bench for Wisconsin. 3 goals, 6 points already.
Very dynamic. She likes to get behind defenses. And she's one of those subs that you can bring on with fresh legs, that as a defender who's tired, they've played 30 or so minutes already, you don't want to be run at with somebody with fresh legs who just likes to run behind, get behind defenses.
Another free kick for Wisconsin. Kayla Powers with the leg. A sub coming in for Wisconsin. Bigalski is out, and in is Grace Barr. Barr, another freshman out of Ohio. So that'll drop Peyton Wesley, looks like number 5, Wisconsin, into the right outside back position, the place where Cameron Bigalski was.
Bigalski was struggling with a little bit of an ankle injury, and in that time, Peyton Wesley came in. She was able to fill that hole, did well. She got some minutes there, so I think it's a switch that they're used to, that they've had to deal with before.
Another sub coming in for Rutgers, no surprise. Erica Murphy is in. Jennifer Andreessen will be out for the remaining 12 and a half of this first half. You may even see more substitutions by Mike O'Neill in the second half when you're allowed one re-entry with all of these players. Scarlet Knights switch fields. Kenny Wright gives it up to Wesley. And Rose Lavelle went down and is still down. She's had to deal with some injury throughout her career. And holding that right leg. A yellow card handed out.
Definitely came in late, didn't look dirty or blatant, but Rose Lavelle was reaching for that ball, and as she reaches right here, she just gets caught mid-air, both feet up off the ground, so any sort of bump is gonna send her flying into the air. See her again, left foot reaches for the ball and then just hits almost a wall.
Tori Prager got her. So a yellow card handed out to Prager, the senior. Well, Mike O'Neill, when he talks about Tori Prager, he says her passion explodes through her jersey, and she's going to go all out, whether there's a player in front of her or not.
Exactly. He said she has the heart of a lion, so you'll see those physical plays, like I said, that didn't look dirty by any means, but definitely a hard player.
Rutgers again trying to work their way up through the back. Swaby with all kinds of time. Direct up top into Lavelle's feet. Space for McGinnis. A lefty try up and over.
And that play just comes from how calm Rose Lavelle is on the ball. She lets the play develop. She sees different angles that really nobody else on the field has seen at that point. And from that deep lying position, she really just has so much time on the ball, and she's able to just knock the ball around wherever she pleases to really start play and start an attack.
Sydney McGinnis coming into tonight, second on the team in shots taken this year. Second behind Rose Lavelle, Lavelle's basically doubled up everybody else with shot attempts. But McGinnis coming into tonight, 34 shot attempts. That was her second attempt tonight. Under 10 to play in this first half. Here's Tiernan looking to turn.
Yeah, And you see that double team that we talked about, like Lavelle just did. She comes down, she'll double team a player whenever they have her back to goal, whenever they can pin her towards the sideline. And you saw just that with Lavelle and Kylie Schwartz on the back line.
Kylie Schwartz and Lavelle, one of the two captains for Wisconsin this year. That's Jessica Pachalski looking to turn number 24 off the bench for Rutgers. Playing it out to Aaron Smith.
Rutgers has definitely slowly got themselves back into this game. They did a lot of defending in the first half, but we're starting to see a little bit more possession in their half of the field now.
We see Brittany LaPlante for the first time in for Rutgers. And she's in for Colby Shiraka. Swaby will play it back to Jimenez. Now 7.5 to play. Erica Murphy into the game. But for Rutgers, Tiernan has taken one shot. And that's the only shot that the Scarlet Knights have generated so far in this first half.
They really just haven't been close enough to their box with the ball at their feet to get anything going offensively and get shots on goal.
Becca Harrison will replace Kayla Powers for Wisconsin for the final 6.5. And Tiernan continues to struggle to find any sort of rhythm. Really, her biggest impact has been defensively on those corners.
She's dropped back a ton, even in the run of play. I think she just is itching to get that ball at her feet or have the ball just to contribute something to the game.
Swaby takes it. Back out to Tiernan. And Clem came out to get it. Rutgers with the goal, and it's Erica Murphy off the bench. All it takes is one good look, and the Scarlet Knights making good on their second chance.
And that's how soccer works so often. You see here, Madison Tiernan takes that shot from outside the box, and then Erica Murphy just in the right spot, right time, no Wisconsin defender around her, and is able to just turn, get a left-footed touch on it, and send it right past Caitlin Clem.
Third goal of the year for Erica Murphy. Five minutes to play in the first half. Lavelle with a chance.
Rutgers goal number 18, Erica Murphy. She was assisted with play number 73, Madison Tiernan.
All right, thanks, Mike Wolf. From volleyball to soccer we go. Lisa Byington alongside the former Illini All Big Ten midfielder Jackie Manny. We are in Madison, Wisconsin, a soccer match, the final night of the regular season. Rutgers and Wisconsin. You just missed a goal by Erica Murphy to put the Scarlet Knights up 1-0. It really had not been a first half where Rutgers has gotten many looks, but the Scarlet Knights making good on their second shot of the game.
Madison Tiernan set it up, and then you saw Erica Murphy in the right place, right time. And like you said, Wisconsin has had the better of this game. They've had the ball in there, attacking third a ton. Rutgers have had to do a ton of defending.
Yes.
But just like soccer works, you have one chance, you make the most of it, and it's a 1-0 game to Rutgers.
I'll just set the stage for you. This is a big night of women's soccer across the conference as Wisconsin works it around to Peyton Wesley. Another corner opportunity for the Badgers. We'll give you a look here at this goal that came. There's Tiernan with the shot. Murphy with the finish.
Erica Murphy, right spot. No Wisconsin defender in the middle of the box. Able to just turn, left-footed shot that she slides in on and finishes it past Caitlin Clem.
Third goal of the year coming in the 39th minute of play for Erica Murphy. This is another corner chance for Wisconsin. They have had 6 of them in this first half alone. Erica Murphy coming off the bench tonight. She has started 6 times this year. Rose Lavelle taking it. Normally, Kayla Powers will take the set pieces for Wisconsin, but she was subbed out late in the first half. And really, Rose Lavelle had been the target for a lot of those corners when Powers was taking them. Wisconsin with an 8-2 shot differential, 7-0 corner differential in this first half, and yet the Badgers trail 1-0. And that's the game of soccer.
It is exactly the game of soccer. It can be so frustrating at times, but you make the most of one opportunity. It doesn't really matter what happened in the beginning of the half.
Lavelle with the takeaway. Nice tackle from Tori Prager. Prager was given a yellow card earlier in this first half. 8 fouls combined between the two teams. But a lot to play for in this last night of the regular season. We'll recap some of the action that has taken place, some significant changes in the standings. We'll talk about that at halftime.
Dude, get them! Here. Just throw it. We don't have to be on the 7th. Yes. There you go. They are. Who are? Zach, can you have it one-handed? Zach, can you do this? What? That's how I jump. Come on, Grace! Go!
Here's Prager. Lofting one into the box. Trying to settle it is Karina Henley coming off the bench. Henley's gotten her chances to start a few times for Rutgers, 5 times in 2016. She's coming off the bench tonight. Another one of those freshmen. They've had combined 59 starts with their freshmen this year. 6 different lineups for the year.
It's a big statement to be able to have going into the next couple of years, just when your freshmen can get that much experience as they're in their freshman year. It really places and sets them up well for years to come and the program's future.
Scarlet Knights with the lead in the final night of the regular season of Big Ten women's soccer. A lot to recap already across the conference. We'll get it to you at the half.
Wisconsin's found that it is better suited for them to switch it, just especially so that Rose Lavelle can continue to attack out of those back spaces off the dribble.
That's an excellent point. Lavelle now has 64 shots this year to ties 16 on the season. So we begin this second half. Rutgers again with a 1-0 advantage. Stakes at hand for the final 45 minutes for both of these teams, trying to make the Big Ten tournament and seeding implications. We heard from Paula Wilkins. She had talked about going to have to figure out if we need a decision here or not. Becca Harrison. Coach is well aware and trying to keep in tune with what's going on in conference play. Lavelle trying to chase it down. Paula Wilkins said Rose Lavelle has played her best soccer at Wisconsin in the last few weeks, and that is saying a lot for an All-American.
Yeah, she's had quite the career, so that's a huge statement about Rose Lavelle. I think she's covered so much ground in this new position. She sets her teammates up. She's able to create chances for herself in that holding position, so I think it just suits her well and gives her a ton more opportunity offensively.
Prager, a pass to no one. And so it will be Caitlin Clem with a goal kick. Clem with just one save. Gave up the one goal. She has 8 shutouts this year. Third in the Big Ten. Goals against average, under 1. Also ranked second in the country in goalie minutes played. Approaching about 1,800 minutes for the season. We mentioned Paula Wilkins in Wisconsin and the coaching staff trying to keep tabs of some of the results. Remember, all 14 teams are playing tonight on this Wednesday night. Rose Lavelle and Kylie Schwartz, the 2 captains for the Badgers, told Paula Wilkins at practice this week, we don't want to know any of the outcomes. And we know Michigan and Indiana and Ohio State and Penn State will be done before our match begins, but we don't want to know.
And she liked that mentality from her team. Said she's talked about that a lot, but she's actually surprised at them reacting that way. And I think that speaks volumes just to those 2 captains and the type of team that they've formed this year. You know, they want to take it one game at a time. They want to take care of whatever they can take care of a team. And a win places them in the Big Ten tournament. So I like that that's all they've really had their focus on.
Now the standings are tight. As you have said a few times, Jackie, you can't remember the last time that a season came down to as much at stake for this many teams on the final day of the regular season.
And you know, you usually know who your top team is, who's going to be out of the tournament, but from 1 to 8, there's just movement or a chance of movement going into tonight's games that we could have seen. We knew the top 3 teams and who those would be, but still, even within those top 3, we could have seen 1 through 3 change based off of these games tonight.
If you missed our halftime, again, congrats to Penn State, locked up at least a share of the Big Ten championship. Minnesota and Northwestern trying to do the same.
And for Penn State, when you think about how much turnover they've had roster-wise, that is an awesome result for them to be able to get back-to-back champions after just their whole roster kind of being turned upside down.
Powers with a decent chance for the Badgers. Kayla Powers leading the team with 13 points this year. Got a good look.
She does a very good job at finding these little seams on the ball. Just a one-time hit with her right foot, fires it right past the post. see it again. One-time hit, laces, strikes through it really well, sends it just wide.
Through ball to Becca Harrison. Harrison getting the start in this second half for Wisconsin. It's McGinnis looking to turn. Try to lay it off for Lavelle. Both of these teams with high expectations in the preseason. Rutgers finished, or picked to finish, second in the preseason. Wisconsin was picked to finish third in the preseason. All behind the defending national champion Penn State. Tiernan looking to take on. And two white jerseys, as we have seen all night, flocking towards her. Madison Tiernan, first in the Big Ten in shot attempts per game. She gets about 5 per game. She's been limited to just 1 so far.
She's just such a good natural scorer and has that mentality to her. So when you see her have the ball at her feet, her first look, her first thought is, how can I get this ball on goal? And Coach Mike O'Neill also talked about just how humble she is. She's very talented, has had a ton of success, but he likes how she goes about her play. She's very humble and puts the team first.
Eight goals, 21 points, tied for 8th all time in points in Rutgers program history. Flirting with a 60-point mark. She's at 59 for her career. Playing it out wide to Alexis Ty. Wisconsin's got another corner.
Get in, we're fine.
Alexis Ty is another one who's covering a ton of ground tonight. She plays in that attacking mid-roll like we've talked about, but she's found herself out wide a number of times, finding the ball at her feet and really generating some offense for Wisconsin.
8-0 corner differential for the game. Here's Powers. She has tried to find Lavelle. Going back towards Lavelle. And a chance for McGinnis in front of the net. A half chance by Wisconsin and Kylie Schwartz. And you see McGinnis coming up hobbling.
I think she might have been blocked by her own teammate here. See the ball get floated up and then off of a header, Sit just one times it. And Emily Borgman just in the wrong spot. Blocks that shot from getting on goal.
McGinnis is still hobbling after that.
You see her take this half volley, and then as she plants her right foot down, I think she gets clipped on the inside of her ankle.
There is definitely right place, right time. There's definitely wrong place, wrong time.
That was more of a wrong place, wrong time, unfortunately, for Wisconsin.
McGinnis looks like is able to kind of walk it off a little bit. A couple of goals on the year for McGinnis. Borgman with 4 goals. That's tied for the team lead. Those are both of your strikers up top for the Badgers. They play a 4-4-2 formation. And as Paula Wilkins had alluded to, maybe hinted at, they might tinker with that a little bit. They feel like they need to get a goal here in the next few minutes. Paula Wilkins, the 2015 Coach of the Year. Wisconsin made a sprint to the finish last season. Beat co-champs with Penn State last year. have a chance in Big Ten women's soccer to see a first in conference history. We could see the first time tri-champs as Tiernan takes a chance. If Northwestern wins and Minnesota wins, it could be the first tri-champions in women's soccer Big Ten history. You go back to 1994. First year of the sport. You see Allie Winterfield, freshman coming in for Wisconsin, and Becca Harrison, who got the start at the beginning of the second half. She'll take a seat.
Going back to that tri-champion first time occurrence, that's exciting that that can happen now. You know, when I was playing in the Big Ten, Penn State, I think they had a 9-year win streak of Big Ten conference champions. And it's very exciting, impressive to see all these different teams being able to play up there with them and split a conference champion with them. Ton of development in the Big Ten, and also it's fun to see all these different teams coming into the conference as well.
And what about the development, though, that Penn State had to make? They're missing 5 players, as we have well documented, who have made the U.S. U20 team. They will all try to redshirt if they can this year. Throw in from Powers.
I was so impressed when we've talked to Coach Dombach about that, is just how prepared she was for this season. You know, she found players like Alora Freigang, who had one of the goals tonight. She set her team up really well for that turnover going into this year after having such a huge year, winning the national championship in 2015.
Maybe the story of the night, though, is Michigan rebounding, scoring 2 goals in the final 6 minutes of play. Big ones from Nikki Waldeck and Ani Sarkeesian getting the game winner. They were trailing 2-1, and that match had direct implications on this one between Rutgers and Wisconsin. If Michigan were to have lost or a tie to Indiana, that would have opened the door for one of these teams to try to get the 4 seed. One goal scored between these two teams, 32.5 to play. Jimenez thought about coming out, decided otherwise. All the way out, Caitlin Clem is not shy in doing that. The 1 goal scored came in the 39th minute.
See Madison Tiernan tease herself up, a little bit of a miss-hit, and then Murphy comes in, slides with her left, and slots it right past Caitlin Clem. This half has definitely been more even in terms of possession, I think, and where the ball's been at in the first 15 or so minutes. Been really impressed, though, by Rutgers' defense. They're very disciplined, and with those 2 freshmen who are holding fort and kind of communicating and directing play in that back line, it's very impressive out of those 2 freshman center backs.
We're talking about the success of Penn State. How about the dominance since joining the Big Ten Conference in 1994? The Nittany Lions, 186 wins, 27 losses. You can add 186 when you add the win tonight, but 18 times a Big Ten regular season champ. including at least a share this year.
They've just had such an impressive history as a program. They've really, for a long time, set themselves far and above in the Big Ten, which is why it's very exciting to see other teams start to come into the picture close to them.
Third straight championship. They finished third back in 2013. Certainly been a force here in conference play. Under 30 minutes to go here tonight between Rutgers and Wisconsin. These two teams with the hopes of playing for a 4 seed are now playing for as good of a seed that they can get and a chance to play in the Big Ten tournament. Half chance. Wisconsin still alive. There's Holly Heckendorf. And another corner for Wisconsin. Heckendorf getting the start on the left outside back position for Wisconsin. And they've had to juggle that back line. Jamie Donahue got hurt. Morgan Taylor had to move to the center back position. Floating to the back part of the box, fight for it. Alexis Ty battling for it. (11-2) shot differential for Wisconsin, and 9-0 corner differential for Wisconsin. But they trail 1-0 to Rutgers. It has not been the first time that Wisconsin has trailed this year. Part of an unbeaten 6-match streak for both of these teams as we see Brittany LaPlante entering the game for Rutgers. We showed you the Murphy goal. See Madison Tiernan getting a breather. Rutgers hasn't had a shot since that Murphy goal, more than 20 minutes ago.
Number 73, Madison Tiernan.
Other scores from around the league: Northwestern Illinois knotted up at the half at 0. Nebraska with a 1-0 edge over Iowa into the second. Minnesota in command, 3-0 edge in the second half against Maryland. So the Gophers just a few minutes away from becoming at least co-champs with Penn State.
Every game I've watched Minnesota play, I've been so impressed with their style of play, their ability on the ball. They create a ton of chances, and they're very good defensively as well. So hats off to both Penn State and Minnesota for this season.
Well, the conference is going to have a lot of fun. There's going to be some tiebreakers that they will have to implement to decide the seeding for the 8 teams who make the Big Ten tournament. Goal kick coming up for Rutgers. We're talking about a 7-step tiebreaker method that starts with head-to-head results. Second tiebreaker is wins in the conference, and they go to points. And the very last thing is the coin flip, and no one wants it to get to that point.
How terrible would that be, having your season be decided off of a coin flip?
They have to go through 6 other tiebreakers before they get to that coin flip option.
And that's how close this whole season has been, just with the amount of ties, all these overtimes that we've been talking about this season in terms of ability of each team has been so close.
Now, this is the second straight year that the champion has been decided on the last day of the regular season. But the depth of what's at stake, with as many teams in play for championships and for seeding implications, that is what makes 2016 unique. McGinnis trying to keep it alive. The 10th corner for Wisconsin.
10 corner kicks is a lot of corner kicks in one game. We've seen some decent flighted balls in, some good services, but we haven't really seen a clean opportunity on goal yet from it.
And a different look again with Lavelle, with the lefty in-swinger, found Powers' head. So that's a switch for Wisconsin. Normally it's Powers trying to find Lavelle.
And that's where Wisconsin's going to have more success. They clog up that middle in terms of Rutgers' defense in that zone. So getting the ball up and over and then trying to redirect it back as that whole Rutgers defense shift is going to be good for them.
Wesley putting it back in. Here's McGinnis with the try.
I think we'll see this game start to open up a little bit as Wisconsin starts to push forward and be more aggressive offensively, trying to go after this game.
A greater sense of urgency now for the Badgers. 23.5 to go.
There we go. Go, open out. Who's got thrower? How's that go?
Aaron Smith clears. And Wisconsin doing a good job trying to keep it in its attacking third.
Great challenge by Ty up in that outside space. I've been so impressed with how much ground she's covered.
Madison Tiernan back in. Again, only one shot attempt tonight. One of the more dynamic goal scorers the Big Ten has seen this year. She will come in for Colby Shiraka. Mike O'Neill likes to use his bench. He's had to use his bench this year. A program record 9 overtimes for Rutgers. A takeaway from Lavelle. Can she put it away? Lavelle into the box, and closing the doors, Amanda Visco.
Great 1v1 defending by Amanda Visco. It is not easy to contain Rose Lavelle 1v1 on the ball. You'll see it here. Just a giveaway by Aaron Smith. Rose Lavelle steps in, wins it, is able to drive into that space. But great job by Visco to stay in front of the ball and block Rose Lavelle's shot.
It almost looked like she got lost on the cutback, but then she recovered.
She did. You always get told not to turn your back as a defender, but she recovered nicely with that sliding right-footed block.
There has been so much that is made about the maturity and the development of Amanda Visco, Chantel Swaby, the 2 freshman center backs for Rutgers. And perhaps as an example, a case in point of how they have grown and they've had to learn. I mean, Visco has logged full-time minutes for a team-leading 15th time this season for the Scarlet Knights.
He just couldn't say enough about them. And he mentioned Meg Ryan, his associate head coach, who really takes hold of those backs and kind of grows their back line and trains them. And he's just been so impressed in what they've been able to do this season.
2 freshman center backs, a replacement for the Big Ten goalkeeper of the year, Casey Murphy, and Alana Jimenez has had 8 shutouts this year. A chance for Wisconsin as Jimenez comes out and gets nailed in the face by Emily Borgman. And a yellow card handed out to Borgman.
It's wet, it's hard to stop. I think you saw her trying and hit the brakes on that play and then just kind of awkwardly tripped over Alana Jimenez.
So the athletic training staff will come out and check in on Jimenez, their keeper, who's logged the most minutes this year for Rutgers. One more look at it.
You see Jimenez comes out. Borgman tries to stop, kind of almost looks like she's on skates, and just slides right into Jimenez. Unfortunate that she got that yellow. Definitely caught a knee to the face, but could tell Borgman was trying to hit the brakes on that play.
2 yellows handed out tonight. The one to Borgman, one to Tori Prager for Rutgers in the first half. Jimenez up. And it looks like she'll be staying in this game for the Scarlet Knights. Jimenez with 3 saves already tonight. Not easy to fill the shoes of Casey Murphy. Alana Jimenez has had to do that. And the advice from Mike O'Neill is just be Alana Jimenez. Don't try to be Casey Murphy this year.
I love that, because I'm sure going into the season, that is the first and only thought that was in her head, trying to fill those shoes. So I like that she, right off the bat, was given the opportunity just to be herself and make that position her own.
Played just a couple minutes in 2014. 2015 was owned by Casey Murphy. And with Murphy going to the U20s, this has been Jimenez's team. So far, Jimenez and Rutgers pitching another shutout here. 1-0 lead for the Scarlet Knights, though Wisconsin has been threatening. Here's Powers. Lavelle from the top of the 18. And Tiernan came all the way back. Tiernan's had a presence defensively tonight. She's strong. She can be a presence back there. But showing that she's not just a goal scorer. Nice combination look. Here's Borgen into the box. Just inches away from tying this one up.
Great combination, but from that angle, you have to get numbers in the box, because a shot from that angle is not going to be all that easy to come by. Finds a shot, but you see it go just wide because of that angle. It's a great little combination play to free her up. You see Rose Lavelle find Borgman on that outside, but this has to be more of a cross coming from that outside rather than a shot, and we just didn't see any Wisconsin players striding into that box.
Into the game for number 44, Ricky LaPlante.
Badgers have been unbeaten in October. They've had to come from behind in some of their matches. In fact, the last loss, you have to go back to September 25th. They lost to Indiana. 3-2 loss where Indiana had 3 goals on set pieces. Wisconsin in a situation, though, will have to try to come from behind in this one tonight. As for Rutgers, the last loss for the Scarlet Knights, September 29th at Michigan. And that loss coming into play for Mike O'Neill tonight, because if Rutgers holds this lead, it would be tied in points with Michigan, but the Wolverines win the head-to-head and therefore have already clinched the number 4 seed. Every match so important in conference play. It's an unbalanced schedule, so you're not going to play everyone. Got to make the most of the opportunities that the schedule presents itself.
And you never know what the year is going to be like, but even just how many goals you score, that's one of the tiebreakers as well. So having goals on the year, not tying, finding as many little points as you can, is so important when teams and conferences are this tight.
Peyton Wesley got tripped up. So a free kick for Wisconsin. 11 fouls called combined between the two teams. Here's Powers. Again, a high floater. Flick on. Lavelle is there! The senior ties it up!
So calm, so composed in front of the goal.
So good, it is a BTN standout. Take one more look at it.
A great service in, a great flick to the back post, and Rose Lavelle finds herself free. One-time volley with her left foot, straight past Alana Jimenez.
20th career goal. It was a nice floater from Powers, but really it was the flick on that made it happen to Lavelle. 4th goal of the year for Rose Lavelle, coming in the 74th minute of play, and we are tied again. And why not? Between two teams who know ties all too well this year. Rose Lavelle coming into tonight leads the team in shot attempts. That's after changing her position from attacking mid to the holding mid position. We were told she might have more of an attacking mentality. She has certainly been the target on set pieces tonight. Prager with the pullback. In the front of the net, the turn, Rutgers with a chance. Elmer is there. And Erica Murphy, who had the goal for Rutgers, had a point-blank opportunity.
So much going on in the box. Murphy on the ball, has some time, gets it to the top of the 6, and then finds it again at her feet. Caitlin Clem, great job with that diving save to her right.
It was a tough angle, though, for Erica Murphy to put it away.
Wisconsin's Badger goal was scored by number 3.
The goal from Rose Lavelle in the 74th minute, giving the assist to Kayla Powers, but also Grace Barr had the great flick on. Here's another opportunity for Murphy. Murphy's had her chances tonight.
Murphy on the ball again, on her right foot, one-time hit, just doesn't get on top of the ball quite as much as she needs to when this ball flies up and over the crossbar. We're already seeing with that Wisconsin goal, this game start to open up a ton more.
We've seen some interesting bounces here with the weather. It's been raining all day in Madison. Misting really at the beginning of this match. It's a wet and slick surface that these players have been dealing with all night. Tied at 1 between Rutgers and Wisconsin. Jackie Manny, Lisa Byington with you. A goal in the first half for Rutgers. And then Rose Lavelle tying things up for Wisconsin. She has been able to impress and wow Badger fans here on her home field for 4 years of her career. And she does it at least one more time for the home fans here tonight. Here is Lavelle. Rose Lavelle made the sacrifice of switching positions from the attacking mid to holding mid position. As you had said, she's had her shot attempts, impressively so.
She just has such a quiet confidence on how she goes about the game. Very composed, as you saw in that goal. She was 1v1 with the keeper and just strikes that ball so clean off of her first touch.
Tiernan trying to keep it in play. Wisconsin has done a good job, really, in keeping Madison Tiernan out of the middle of the field, forcing her to the flanks.
And they've caused her to come back, play a lot more defense just on how they've been playing defensively. And it just has drawn her away from the goal. She hasn't had a ton of opportunities offensively. Created that goal for Rutgers in the first half, but it's been a quiet game for Madison Tiernan.
Again, just one shot attempt. Rutgers as a team has attempted 5 tonight, but outshot by Wisconsin 15-5. The stark contrast when you look at the stats is corners. Wisconsin with 11 and Rutgers with 0. Prager trying to slip a through ball up to Murphy.
This game is just opening so much up and on the field. There's tons of space in the midfield right now to play, where in the first 60, 70 minutes, we really didn't see the ball possessed in the midfield at all.
Rutgers knew it had to maneuver through tight, compact spaces. Wisconsin was offering them. Here's Kenny Wright. Kenny Wright to Shiraka. Murphy couldn't handle it.
You could see Madison Tiernan on that ball, just wanting her to leave it so bad. Tiernan was sitting at the top of that box, wide open, ready for that ball to come all the way through to her.
Shiraka with the throw in. Nine minutes to go, and again, these two teams know ties all too well. 6 total for Rutgers, 7 total for Wisconsin. Part of the reason both of these teams have been unbeaten in the month of October. I'd like to get some of those points back, though. Looking at how close the standings are this year. They want Aaron Smith to back up. Aaron Smith started 66 consecutive matches coming into tonight. 77 total. She's played in 81 games. Here's Taylor Allen. Nope. Out to Lavelle. Lavelle with a lefty chance! How about that? Lavelle, the superstar, shone it brightly tonight.
Just so sneaky and deceptive with where she's at on the field. You see here, Rutgers has the ball, plays it in, but it's a turnover and Wisconsin's attacking third. Quick transition by Wisconsin, finds Rose Lavelle with some space at the top of the box, and it's just a one touch, and then second touch is a rocket off of her left foot. Placed so well, so calm, so confident on the ball, strikes so well with her left foot, and it's a clean hit right into that right post.
Gives Wisconsin the lead, and the first time this year Rose Lavelle has gotten a couple goals in one game. One in the 74th minute, one in the 81st. The difference of 7 minutes for Wisconsin. In fact, the first multi-goal game for Lavelle since September 11th of 2013. This is Rose Lavelle's night.
With Untitled Chapter's goal to number 3, Rose Lavelle. Assisted by number 5, Peyton Wesley.
Assisted by Peyton Wesley. Player coming off the bench for Wisconsin tonight. I'll tell you what, it has taken some weird hops for Caitlin Clem back there. Clem with a couple of saves. Wisconsin trying to get a much needed points to improve their tournament seed. Interesting. So the Badgers will take their time on any set piece, on any throw-in opportunity. Other scores around the league. Nebraska now a final 1-0 over Iowa. Another flick on. Wisconsin has gotten so good at that. We saw a beautiful flick on by Grace Barr that led to the Rose Lavelle first goal.
Wisconsin substitution number 12, Kayla Powers enters the game. Number 21, Becca Harrison.
Illinois Northwestern still locked at 0. 64th minute of play. Minnesota, how about this? 6-0 over Maryland in the 86th minute. You think the Gophers want to share of that championship with Penn State?
They're trying to make a little bit of a statement.
My goodness. Well, that's a time stall right there for Powers in Wisconsin. They're going to take it to the corner and force Rutgers to make a move. Come get me, says Powers.
Trying to stall in that corner. And with that, you see all these Rutgers players convulge around the ball. Rose Lavelle had the ball at her feet just outside the 18 and had a ton of time and space just because of the numbers that flocked around the ball in that corner from Rutgers.
4 minutes to go in this match. A couple of Lavelle goals in about a 7-minute span has been the difference for Wisconsin.
Hey! Zach.
Out to Alexis Ty. And again, Wisconsin will take its time with this throw-in. trying to flight it to that corner again. Here's McGinnis chasing it down.
Dude, do you guys have a 6-day weekend?
Got away from McGinnis.
What do you guys have 6? Here. Oh, no.
Wisconsin on a 6-match unbeaten streak. That Indiana match was the last time they lost, September 25th, and Paula Wilkins challenged them. They gave up 3 set-piece goals, and she challenged them to return to a grittiness that Wisconsin soccer is known for. The throw-in for Rutgers, who's looking to tie it. Jenna Sayers, number 21, in for the first time for the Scarlet Knights, and we have the first corner kick for Rutgers coming up with just 2.5 to play. It had been a 12-0 advantage in that category. Advantage Wisconsin.
Watch for a player like Madison Tiernan to try and find this ball.
Both of these teams have no ties in overtimes. In Rutgers, it has been extraordinary. I mentioned the program record 9 overtimes. That's plus 142 extra minutes of soccer that all of these players have sustained. Seven of the last 8 matches coming into tonight had gone into the extra session.
I really liked his take on that, though. He said it hasn't hurt his team. Yeah, it's something that they need to talk about physically and recovery-wise, but he thinks it's made his team stronger and more confident in games.
And Clem comes out. Just about a minute to go. Wisconsin looking to salt away this final 60 seconds. By the way, that loss to Indiana, it was a season-high 3 goals that Wisconsin had given up. If this result holds, Wisconsin will have allowed 3 goals in 7 games after giving up 3 in 1 game to Indiana. This has been a different Badger team since September 25th. Final 10 seconds.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And isn't that fitting? Last touch of the match coming from one Rose Lavelle, the Badger hero tonight.
Such a great game by Rose Lavelle. 2 great finishes, both left-footed,
Thank you on behalf of
and just leads her team into a much-needed, huge win going into the Big Ten tournament.
And Rutgers, a first loss this year in regulation.
Again, the final score tonight is Wisconsin 2.
Couple of hugs for the senior superstar who made the difference tonight. A couple of goals in a 7-minute span, and Wisconsin coming from behind to win this one against Rutgers 2-1. And now all the tiebreakers will come into play as the results come pouring in tonight, with all 14 Big Ten teams playing this evening on the final night of the regular season. Your updated standings look like this. Penn State, you can add a win to Minnesota as well. They have a 6-goal advantage with just a few minutes to play. I'm going to give the Gophers the win. So at least co-champions between Penn State and Minnesota. Michigan a big scorer tonight, locking up the 4 seed. And all the others, the 5 through 8, still have to be decided. The top 8 advance to the Big Ten tournament. Want to remind you, too, that quarterfinal coverage, you can find it on BTN at 3 Eastern coming up this Sunday. Rose Lavelle, the story of the second half for Wisconsin, a couple of goals.
You see that left-footed one-time volley straight into the back of the net off of a great flick by Grace Barr. And then here you see her again from distance, just takes one prep touch, second touch is a great finish, again with her left foot.
And so a victory for Wisconsin as we welcome in the senior, Rose Lavelle. And Rose, it had to have been a frustrating first half. You guys dominated statistically. How did you guys rebound and keep your focus here in the second half to come from behind to win?
Yeah, I mean, we knew we had the run of possession. We had a lot of chances. We just had to finish on them. We couldn't get discouraged, and we knew we had to come out fighting in the second half, and I think that's what we did.
Talk a little bit about your position transition and how you've gone about this season in that defending mid-roll.
Yeah, I've definitely had a different role than I'm used to. I would consider myself more of an offensive player, but I've had to play more of a defensive role this year. But whatever helps the team, I know I'm helping the team back there defensively, and as long as we're successful, that's really all that matters.
Rose, this is most likely your final time playing on this field. Can you sum up here? And I know it's sad, right? Can you? You've got still some soccer to play here in the postseason, but what has it meant to play on this field and to put on the Badger uniform for 4 years?
It's been such an honor playing for Wisconsin. I couldn't have picked a better spot, and my teammates these past 4 years and the coaching staff have really pushed me to be a better player and a better person, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity I've had here.
Well, it's been fun to watch you. Thank you for the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Rose Lavelle, the difference. A couple of goals for Wisconsin in her, most likely her final match in Madison.